Well, I hope everyone is doing well. It's been 10 days ago or so now. I was watching YouTube, and I always watch all the other uh, booktube guys and all kinds of stuff on YouTube regarding science fiction, and it's always a lot of fun. I noticed Giant Freakin Robot did a video on what he felt was the best Star Trek episode ever. And I'm assuming he was limiting that to the original series. That's all I heard him discuss in there. I may have missed something. But the title of that is, and I will include a link of that in my link to that in my description, is "The Best Star Trek Episode is Usually Ignored." And he reaches the conclusion that it is Balance of Terror, which is in the first season. And I will limit this to the first season episodes because that is available on Pluto, which is free. And everybody can watch these episodes and take a look. And Balance of Terror is undoubtedly a great episode. And he is correct. There are really quite a few similarities between the old Robert Mitchum and Kurt Jurgens' World War II movie, The Enemy Below. And if you watch that, you will see some definite parallels. But I felt that there were at least 5 or 6 other episodes that were probably just as good as Balance of Terror, and one that is probably the best of the first season. And so I pulled out my old copy of The World of Star Trek by David Gerrold and looked through that a little bit. This particular one is from 1984, and I always enjoy taking a look at that. And I thought I should really consult my old copy of my oldest fan letter that I subscribe to. And this is the Star Trek Fan Club. I probably got it upside down. I certainly do. Though what they did at the end of Star Trek in 1969, when it had been canceled, they were going to try to do another write-in letter campaign and bring Star Trek back. But Gene Roddenberry really wasn't involved in Star Trek anymore, so I didn't participate in that. But in this particular issue, which is the only copy I have left, they included all of the Star Trek scripts. You could buy the actual script, and in here is the title and a little synopsis of each show with the authors and the date that they were aired. So I thought it would probably be pretty easy for me to take a look through here and select some other episodes that I thought was really good. So I'll run down through here really quickly. Charlie X by D.C. Fontana and Gene Roddenberry. Of course, Charlie X is definite takeoff on Stranger in a Strange Land. And a really good, strong episode. And I've always thought that was a great one. And again, D.C. Fontana wrote quite a bit for Star Trek. And Roddenberry, of course, modified every script. I don't think there was one that he did not have his hands on for the entire first 2 seasons. He, from what I understand, had basically nothing to do with the 3rd season. So Charlie X, running on down here a little bit, I find the Corbomite Maneuver, written by Jerry Soule, Jerry Soule wrote some great science fiction. And that is a really great episode. And the next one is Balance of Terror by Paul Schneider. And a great episode, undoubtedly. We'll go on down to The Squire of Gothos by P. Schneider. Really another great episode, and it touches upon all of Roddenberry's favorite topics, as a lot of them do. Next, right after The Squire of Gothos, is Arena, adapted by Gene Kuhn from Frederick Brown's great story. Another incredibly great episode, and I think most people like that one. And we'll go down to Space Seed. C. Wilbur and Gene L. Kuhn again. Gene L. Kuhn's presence was being made known on Star Trek really pretty early in the first season. And Space Seed is Khan and eugenics and tyranny and all that stuff again. We run down to This Side of Paradise. D.C. Fontana and Nathan Butler. Another great episode, and Roddenberry discusses political ideologies, the value of work, and again, a lot of different topics in there. And the harshest, this is actually, I think, the harshest episode of Star Trek. If you watch the last 10 seconds of the show, Spock says something very dramatic. And then next I would pick The Devil in the Dark by Gene L. Kuhn. Miners on a thought to be uninhabited planet break into the last living aliens, basically her brood, her hen house. I don't know what else to call it. And they kill a bunch of children and don't know it. So Spock and Captain Kirk have to resolve that issue. So The City on the Edge of Forever by Harlan Ellison. Again, a great episode. There's just no doubt about it. And those are all great episodes. But one that I think does not get much notice is the second pilot with William Shatner's Captain Kirk, Gary Lockwood, and Sally Kellerman. And this one is by Sam Peoples, and it discusses all of Roddenberry's favorite topics. And I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible. Here it is, Where No Man Has Gone Before. And a lot goes on in this great science fiction story, and a lot is confronted. I would say it confronts Odd John. It's a Good Life by Jeremy Bixby. All kinds of stuff. But at the end, Captain Kirk discusses with Sally Kellerman's character, who is the ship's psychiatrist, and her name is Dr. Daner. Gary Lockwood is Lieutenant Commander Mitchell. And Mitchell has become a super being, sort of along the lines of Odd John or Bixby's character. And Dr. Daner is undergoing the process toward that as well. She is becoming a super being. And Kirk discusses with her, do you like what you see? And ask her, what's your prognosis, doctor? So she's thinking about this, and I think there's a little teleportation here too, because we do not see Mitchell or Dr. Daner approach Captain Kirk. They just are there all of a sudden. And so she's thinking about this, and Mitchell is threatening Kirk, and Dr. Daner literally engages in hand-to-hand combat with a super being, and she loses the fight, and it does cost her life. And I was always kind of surprised at the end of the show, Kirk just says in his log that both First he says Gary Mitchell dies in line of duty, which he did. He didn't ask for what happened. And I can understand that Kirk wants to protect his legacy. But then he just says, same notation for Dr. Daner. Well, I was like, wait a minute. Where's her Galactical Medal of Honor for saving every soul in the galaxy? I have always thought that was a glaring error in the show, and I would wonder what you guys think. At any rate, that's all I have for this one, and it's really the only Star Trek in the first 2 seasons that I thought really made a drastic error. So I hope everybody has a good day.